Greetings fellow modelers. Today, we're going to look at part 3 of our Heinkel He111p-2, the landing gear maze, and just the beauty of building this beast in such fine details. Before we continue, I just want to show you how I varnish my model. There are times I stop and I do it. Here you see I'm applying the few last bit of painting to the spinner from the last episode, and now I'm going to use my satin varnish. This is from Pebeo and it's the oil varnish. It gives it time to dry. The downside is it takes a few days to dry, but once it dries, it's really smooth and it adds to the realism of your model. So this is how I achieve paper models looking like plastic. So onto the landing gear door assembly. After we're looking on the model, and this I built as a test off screen, we're going to do the landing gear door. This is the parts for it. So first we cut the parts out, and again I keep stressing this is 1/72nd scale. Your model from GPM is much bigger, so don't sweat it. So here you see I'm using super glue to hold the parts fast and tight, and for the joiners I'm just using ordinary regular printing paper, bond sheet, office paper to join the tags. So as I join the panels and I now put the rear framework on, that's what helped give it the shape needed. We just repeat the process to the other side. And then we take our paint and paint internal gray to try match what's on the inside. And now we are putting in the landing gear well. And now it comes up pretty nice. Just a little bit firm push and make sure all the parts are snugly fit. And now we can secure using super glue the gear door. At this scale, some parts will not be able to be cut and put in, but there you have it. And I quite like how it turned out. Beautiful. The engine exhaust assembly, hey, I use a fine skewer stick to make that bond paper sheet roll properly, and then I split that in half, put a little glue on the inside and roll it on my mat. And at that smaller scale now, I sort of measured, I think it was like 4mm, and I just made several cuts. And once I got those now, I use my tweezer to bend it, as you see here, and then just put them into position. That's my Alene tacky glue, yes? So it sort of holds it in position good enough. And then we just put in on this side, we do to the other side, and bam, we secure once we have the right angle with super glue, and that's it. No problem at all. The fin and the rudder assembly, this is going to be a little bit technical, but it's not bad. It's quite ingenious how they did it. So once we cut out the panel, we're going to then cut the rudder out. Look, I admire the Heinkel. It is a unique plane. I think it's a workhorse of the Luftwaffe in terms of the bomber unit, and that was pretty interesting. The rudder framework, you see I'm here cutting out and then assembling. Then to quickly hold all this in place with super glue. And then we just slip that in place and super glue the back end. Not bad. Genuinely not bad. Tip is make sure it's straight by pressing it against the mat, yes? The base underside, you notice it kinks. So we make sure that it bends according to what the blueprint shows us. And once we're finished with all that, we then paint the edge. This now is the fin we're making once that we have got the rudder complete. So the fin is a good workup. It's quite ingenious how they managed to get the shape of the fin to be thick and scale-like. The build-up of the framework was quite something I really admire. And now you see me using my paintbrush handle to curve the leading edge and then paint. You may not see me show painting all the time, but I either use my cake decorating tool and then curve it, glue one side. You see this is a bond sheet I keep talking about because it's thin enough yet strong enough. So you see I cut one side, put glue on the other panel and just put them in line, and there you go. Not looking bad. And don't worry about the glue making the color off. Once it's dry, we can always retouch and it looks more realistic. Look at that. We slide the framework in and there we have it. Our fin. Pretty darn good. We lock into place using our super glue and then we assemble both rudder and fin. Nice. Look at that. Now let's put a little detail on it now. Once we lock that properly, we're going to put in the horn balance. So you see once I cut that out of paper, I use super glue actually to stiffen and strengthen it, color it to match the fin color, and this is a thin strip of cardstock that I used to form the rudder linkage. That out of the way, let's deal with the elevator and the stabilizer assembly. So here we have the landing gear door on our main wing panel. We got our fin and rudder assembled, not bad. So let's tackle this control surface. Again, just like the rudder, we're going to just cut out our panels, color the edges, put aside. The thing I'm learning about these models is the number one ingredient you need to have is patience. That I rarely have because you can see what the model is going to become and you just want to quickly get there, and yet still that's one of the fatal flaws you can have because there are times when you can miss important parts you need to add or things you need to pay attention to or things you should not cut. So yeah, that's one of my biggest downfall. But overall, I just love seeing paper just become so real. And just like the rudder, the elevator is sealed. Nice, look at that. Of course, you see me not pressing it on the surface, but yes, we put it on the surface to make it flat. Here now, you see I did the left stabilizer. So now I'm doing the right side. You see how it's assembled. Again, this is similar to how the fin was done. Same makeup, simple and yet brilliant. Shout out to the designer of this kit. I know it's an old kit, but let me tell you, it is one of those kits I am thoroughly impressed with. And just like the fin, you see we made our joining tab. We put glue on one side, we attach the joining tab, glue on the other side, and we just join the parts. And like magic, it just comes together and has the aerofoil shape already built in before we even put in our framework here. And that's it. Look at that. Done. So now all we need to do is to put at an angle, which I love to do, put my elevators in the downward angle at rest, and we put the other side in. And that's it. Well, thanks for joining me again on another episode. Next time, we're going to tackle the landing gear and finally the fuselage. So until then, my friends, take care, walk good, and as always, one love.